Let's go through the real reasons we're on the brink of war with Iran. Because guess what? It's not because General Soleimani was a bad guy. Again, if we drone bombed every bad guy around the world, our government would be empty and Jeff Bezos would be running for his life. He'd have to fight off the military drones with Amazon delivery drones. Although that would be a battle I'd enjoy watching. So here are the real reasons many members of our government are trying and want to create a war with Iran. Number one, money. That's it. That's the show. Have a good night. Please tip your wait staff. That's not really a joke. All of the reasons do come down to money and power. But here they are. Number one, weapons contracts. Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, and Boeing need to be fed in blood, much like vampires or Courtney Love. And in fact, the stock price of weapons contractors shot to the heavens the moment Donald Trump committed his latest war crime. Here's Lockheed Martin before the assassination, and that erection there is after the assassination. War is good for business. Number two, Iran dropped the dollar, and they're outside the Bank for International Settlements. That means they're outside the long tentacles of our central banking system. We attacked Syria after they dropped the dollar. We attacked Iraq after they dropped the dollar. And we destroyed Libya after Gaddafi began planning an African currency. So at the end of the day, this is a religious war. Iran does not worship the same God as us, the dollar. Number three. Iran has a ton of oil. Not only do they have a ton of oil, but they just discovered an oil field with 50 billion barrels more. And big oil still owns our government, even though burning fossil fuels is fucking killing us all. It's like we're addicted to playing with deadly animals or something. We know one of them is going to get us one of these days. But we just can't help ourselves. It's just too fun. America is the Steve Irwin crocodile hunter of nations, okay? And number four, Israel. Israel doesn't like that there's a stable country in the Middle East that doesn't have America sitting on its face. Netanyahu has been asking for war with Iran for years. Remember when he spoke to the UN and he showed off his little third grade picture he drew? What is it with these infantile sociopaths and their toddler-like love of drawings? Look, big bomb goes boom, big, big boom. So those are the real reasons many in our government want war with Iran. But here's something else you should know. As the Democrats on Capitol Hill fall all over themselves voting to try and take away Trump's limitless war powers, they fucking helped put us here. They stripped away every power Congress had. They helped hand Donald Trump a dictator's toolkit. They laid the groundwork for attacking Iran. They supported economic war against Iran. They celebrated Trump every time he bombed Syria or Afghanistan or Iraq. The Democrats, even just a month ago, voted overwhelmingly for the National Defense Authorization Act. But before they did so, 2 amendments were stripped from that bill before it went to a vote. Ro Khanna's amendment to block funding for a war with Iran, barring congressional approval, and Barbara Lee's amendment to repeal 2001's authorization for the use of military force, the AUMF. The AUMF is a 20-year-old blank check for the president to bomb just about anywhere. So the NDAA passed the House 377 to 48, and then passed the Senate 86 to 8. 8. Only 8 fucking Democrats had the spine to stand up against this catastrophic insanity. Mitch McConnell, the Senate's old man mutant ninja turtle, proudly celebrated the bipartisan nature of the bill. And what about these economic sanctions we have on Iran that by definition kill the poor, the old, the young? Did the Dems vote against those? Well, in July 2017, Senator Bernie Sanders was the only lawmaker in both the House and the Senate who caucuses with the Democrats to vote against a bill that bundled together sanctions on Iran, Russia, and North Korea. Senator Bernie Sanders. That attention-seeking whore. Every time our Congress has a loving moment when they all agree, let's kill some children, Bernie fucking Sanders has to stick his crazy head up and go, look at me! I don't want to kill children. I'm an egomaniac. For once, Bernie, you should just realize this isn't about you, okay? This is about us all coming together to say we are morally bankrupt. Now let's move on to the media. Have they played any role in this clusterfuck? I certainly hope they didn't encourage Donald Trump's insanity at all. Here's video from the day after Trump first bombed Syria based on claims of chemical attacks that we now know, thanks to two whistleblowers, were completely bullshit. Here's CNN the day after Trump bombed Syria.
Fareed, it's day 78 of the Trump presidency. What changed last night?
I think Donald Trump became president of the United States. I think this was actually a big moment.
Yes, bombing countries on a false premise, killing innocent people without a valid justification. That's what makes you truly presidential. And that's the so-called liberal media. Over at Fox News, they just have videos of women in bikinis dry humping missiles. Which I'll watch, but I don't think it's right, you know? But what about the not consulting Congress part? I'm sure CNN hero Fareed Zakaria finds a president that just bombs shit willy-nilly without congressional approval pretty horrifying.
Candidate Trump had said that he would never get involved in the Syrian civil war. He told President Obama, you cannot do this without the authorization of Congress. President Trump realized, as every president has for many decades now, that presidents always believe they have inherent legal authority as commander-in-chief, and they don't need to go to a pesky Congress every time they want military force.
Oh, that pesky Congress. Always getting in the way of killing people. And the truth is, the Congress would probably approve most of these war crimes, but we don't even give them the chance. You see, our corporate media built us up to this point. They celebrated Trump every time he killed people. They feared he wouldn't create enough war for their bloodlust. Trump is an easy man to manipulate, all right? Hell, if they did one segment on Fox News about how dolphins are actually laughing at Donald Trump whenever they go, ee, 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 the next day Trump would bomb SeaWorld. So what do you think it does to Trump when the only time all of our media channels cheer him on is when he's killing people? I'm no political scientist, but I'd say he's going to kill people. Look, our politicians have failed us. Our media has failed us. Our courts have failed us. None of them will stop this psychotic military-industrial death machine. It has to come from us. It has to come from people in the streets standing up and demanding peace, demanding an end to this deadly idiocy, demanding an end to war. It comes down to you and me. Coming to you from Washington, D.C., the belly of the beast is the redaction tonight.
Let's roll, never give them control. They got